Today I'm going to share with you guys some things that I personally would like to see in Scream 7. Let's get into it.
Certain rules. Push the laws and you end up dead.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Not in my movie.
Surprise, Sydney.
He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
A very simple formula.
You want to play psycho killer?
Everybody's a suspect.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think it's gonna go something like this.
I'm Pamela, welcome back to my channel. So starting off, number one thing I want to see is the return of Gale Weathers. We have yet to get any confirmation on Courtney Cox returning to the Scream franchise. I feel pretty hopeful. You know, I'm not really doubting that she's going to come back. Gale has been in every Scream movie. Even Scream 6 that didn't have Sydney. So, you know, now that we have Neve Campbell confirmed to be back, there's no doubt in my mind that Gale will also be there, but I'm just gonna need some confirmation on this. It's been a long time since we got an announcement. The last announcement we heard was back in March with Neve's return, as well as Kevin Williamson's announcement that he's directing. So it's been like 3 months since we heard anything about Scream 7, and I'm just hoping that we can get some kind of an announcement soon. Next thing I want to see in Scream 7 is the return of Mark Kincaid, played by Patrick Dempsey. He is now Sydney's husband. We haven't seen him since Scream 3 though. And Scream 4, they weren't together to our knowledge. They never mentioned him in Scream 4. It wasn't until Scream 5 that Dewey asked Sydney on the phone, "How's Mark?" And she said, "I think I'll keep him." So we have yet to see Mark Kincaid. Unfortunately, we did not see him in Scream 6, although we did just find out recently in the original script for Scream 6, he was going to make an appearance before Neve Campbell dropped out due to pay discrepancies, so that's unfortunate. And we all have been speculating for a long time now that he might return to the franchise in Scream 7 if Sydney's going to be in the story. We now know that Sydney will be in Scream 7, but we still don't have any word on Patrick Dempsey returning. There have been rumors for several months, and apparently, according to Production Weekly months ago, he was in talks to return, along with Courtney Cox. And Production Weekly is, you know, a reliable source that usually is accurate, so I guess we'll see. You know, I feel like the fact that Patrick Dempsey was just in Thanksgiving, another slasher from Spyglass, I think there's a good chance that he will be in Scream 7. Something else I want to see in Scream 7 is Sydney's kids. We learn in Scream 5 that she's a mom. We can see her pushing a stroller in Scream 5. She also says, "I'm just getting a run in before taking the girls to school." So it's safe to say that she has more than one kid. But according to the original script for Scream 6, she apparently has 3 daughters, the oldest one being named Hannah. They apparently were going to make an appearance in Scream 6, so I just hope that we get that in Scream 7. I hope that we get to see Sydney interacting with them rather than just a mention of them or seeing them in passing. I hope that we can actually see Sydney actively being a mom. This is something we've never really seen from her, and it would be something new and different for the franchise. Sydney's been in this story for almost 30 years, so I would love to see something different from her. And, you know, we've grown and changed with Sydney over the years, so it would just be great to see her in that mother role. Hopefully we can get the whole family in a few scenes, Sydney, Mark, and the girls. Something else I want to see in Scream 7 is just higher stakes. This is something that was severely lacking in Scream 6. There were no big character deaths, which is one of my biggest issues with Scream 6. You know, I thought Gale was a goner in Scream 6. She made it out alive. I do fear that Scream 7 is Gale's time. As much as it's gonna hurt to see her die, I do think that it needs to happen. Not only do we need some big deaths, but you know, we're going on 7 movies with Gale if she's in Scream 7. So I do think it's time to end Gale's story. Something that I personally want to see, if and when it's Gale's time to go, I want to see her sacrificing herself for Sydney and her family. If Gale has to die, I think it should definitely mean something. And I think the best way to do that is have her sacrifice herself to save Sydney and the girls so that Sydney can be there for her family. Gale doesn't have a family. If you remember in Scream 6, she says her parents suck. I don't know if they're still alive or not, but she clearly does not have a great relationship with them. And she also said that you can make a family out of one other person, and that was Dewey. And Dewey's no longer here. So Gale really doesn't have anyone in her life. Not to say that she doesn't deserve to live because of that, but I can just see her, wanting Sydney to live for her girls and her family. So I just hope they give Gale a great death, sacrificing herself so that Sydney can move on. Something else that I would like to see is the return of Kirby Reed. I love Kirby. I love Hayden Panettiere. Kirby is one of my favorite characters of all time. She's probably in my top 5. I absolutely love her in Scream 4. Scream 4 is my favorite sequel, and I really enjoyed seeing her in Scream 6. I do know there's a lot of people out there who didn't really care for her in Scream 6. They feel like they kind of butchered her character. She didn't really have much to do, or she wasn't in the story enough. I do think that her character did have a lot to do in Scream 6. I do think she was kind of bad at her job, which is unfortunate, but I do think that she was included in a good handful of scenes. And now that we no longer have Dewey or Judy, we need someone to kind of fill that role of a police officer. Now, of course, Mark Kincaid could be that as well. He's a detective. But how cool would it be to see Kirby and Mark team up as police officers, a detective, FBI agent, hunting down Ghostface? Speaking of Ghostface, another thing I want to see is Stu Macher's cult going after Sydney. If you're familiar with my channel, then you know that I am a Stu believer. I believe he's alive, leading a cult of ghost faces. I do think that they've been setting this up since 5 and 6. All throughout Scream 5 and 6, there are a ton of cult clues. If you're not familiar with my past videos covering this, definitely go check them out. You can find them in my Stu Macher playlist. And we have heard rumors recently that there is in fact going to be a cult going after Sydney. Within these rumors, there has been no mention of Stu, but I mean, that's where it's headed in my opinion. So just imagine Mark and Kirby hunting down these ghost faces across the country. That's another thing I want to see from this cult. I want to see it taking place over a wide setting, all across the country, possibly globally. I think one of the little clues that we have that point towards a cult is that Kirby says, I take a special interest in Ghostface attacks. She traveled from Atlanta to New York City. She's traveling across state lines to investigate Ghostface attacks. So it would be cool to see her traveling in Scream 7 to hunt down this cult going after Sydney. So definitely the number one thing I want to see in Scream 7 is the return of Stu Macher. As I stated earlier, I do think they've been setting this up for the past 2 movies. It's the only logical outcome for Scream 7 in my opinion. One last thing that I would like to see in Scream 7 is the return of some other past characters. Maybe Martha Meeks, maybe Joel the cameraman. I absolutely love Joel. I've been saying for a long time now that I want to see him return to the franchise. Part of me did think that we were going to see him in Scream 6 because Scream 6 was meant to mirror Scream 2 in a lot of ways. And we did just recently find out that in the original script for Scream 6, Joel was going to return and survive yet again. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but who knows, maybe we could see him in Scream 7 with Gale again, especially if this is going to be Gale's last movie. it would be nice to see them together one last time. So that's it for today. Those are just a few things that I personally would like to see in Scream 7. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. What would you like to see in Scream 7? Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Please also make sure you turn on all notifications so you don't miss out on any of my future posts, future Scream theories, or future Scream 7 announcements. Any sort of update we get will be posted here to this channel, and I expect we're going to get one soon. It's been a while. Please also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please also go subscribe to my second YouTube channel. And please also consider becoming a channel member here on my main channel. You will gain access to exclusive content and these fun little emojis that you can use in the comments on all of my videos or in the live chat whenever I have live streams. You can find the link to join down in the description, or you can find the join button on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.